Boy, do I have some explaining to do. Yeah, I'm back. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Caleb, and this is ChatGPT versus me, Week 11 edition. So, a little recap on what happened these past 2 weeks. I did NFL Week 9. I didn't do college Week 10 because I was feeling sick. I wasn't feeling real well. So I gave myself a bye week for college. But then I got hit with a work training trip. So I went to Louisiana. I didn't bring none of my equipment to record these videos, which was mainly just my iPad and phone. But I didn't have time because we'd have to wake up early in the morning, do training, and then come back. By the time I came back, it was already like 6 o'clock, and then we ate dinner. And then by the time we were done with all that, it was time for me to go to bed and do it all over again. So, sorry about that. Sorry for not even briefing y'all. Won't happen again. I promise. I hope. But with that being said, we are on week 11. Week 9 recap. ChatGPT went off. They went perfect. And I did not do so great. They had week 9, they had Ravens -9. They obviously won. Patriots +3.5. They lost, but they covered. Buck +9. Lost, but they covered. And the Rams Seahawks under 48.5. That was a boring game. Then I had Texans +2.5 versus Jets in New York. Jets beat the Texans. I don't even want to talk about it. Chargers Browns over 41.5. I thought Jameis Winston was going to go off, and so would the Chargers, but that game was just as bad. And then Bengals -7 versus the Raiders. I don't know how Bengals were only -7. They're shocking. They really thought that they were that bad. And then I had Chicago versus Arizona over 44.5. I want to say I'm done with the Bears, but you'll find out this week. With that being said, week 11, we have ChatGPT at 19-13, me at 12-18-2. So last week kind of really hurt me and pushed me back. We have a few weeks left. Can I come back? And if you're riding with Chat, you're making lots of money. If you're riding with me, you're probably breaking even because I do pick a lot of underdogs. So, and I have 2 of them that push. So, lucky me. With that being said, you'll see on the picture, you'll have 1, 2, 4, 5 on ChatGPT's picks because pick number 3 was Steelers and I think it was Steelers and Dolphins or something like that, but then they had the Dolphins under, so I was like, that makes no sense, Chat. Get it together. Anywho, with their first pick, they have the Packers -6.5 versus the Bears. With the Packers off a bye facing a struggling Bears team, true. The spread could move higher. I think it opened up at -5. So, or actually, I think it went down, so it's at -5 now. It opened up at -6.5. So, if you can get it at -5, get it at -5 right now. Especially given Chicago's recent struggles, both on and off the field. I don't know what off the field means. I think they are getting rid of one of their coaches, I believe. And Caleb Williams is complaining, but that's every team they lose. Anyway, but yeah, the Packers, they did lose to the Lions before they went to bye. The only thing about the Packers is they are throwing a lot of interceptions. They're turning over the ball a lot, meaning Jordan Love. He has, I think, 10 interceptions, I believe, only 15 touchdowns. Those are Jameis Winston numbers when he was playing with the Bucks. So, be careful. Their second pick is Eagles -165 money line versus the Commanders. Philadelphia is favored to win against Washington, though the Commanders' defense has made this matchup somewhat unpredictable. If you're looking to back the Eagles outright, the money line looks promising. I actually love this pick. The Washington, they are looking great. They are the shock team of the season. Honestly, I didn't believe that Jay Daniels was going to be this good, and they're going off. But the Eagles did struggle, but now they are finally clicking. I think they've won like 3 or 4 in a row. They look like a Super Bowl contender team. They need to keep it up. Their defense needs to step up a little bit. Commanders' offense is kind of dimming down some. Jay Daniels is starting to look like the rookie he is. So, give me the Eagles money. Well, ChatGPT picked the Eagles money line. And then they have the Bengals versus Chargers over 45.5. Both teams have shown high offense potential, but also weakness in the defense. Betting the over is a solid option, which could be a high-scoring game. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love overs. I just can't get enough of overs. I kind of hate unders, but I'm an over guy. I will bet some unders here and there, but usually I lose those. So, over all the way, Bengals, you can't go wrong with Joe Burrow, especially him throwing at least 2 to 3 touchdowns a game. Chargers, Justin Herbert is the only one you're really going to question. The Chargers, they have looked good when they do score, but when they don't score, obviously they're losing games, but it's just they look like a team that should not be in playoff contention. And then their last team, Dolphins, minus 13 versus the Raiders. Miami's high-powered offense is favored to cover a significant spread against the Raiders team that could struggle to keep up after the bye. I hate and love this. Let me explain. Raiders did beat the Ravens. And that was a high-powered, talented, star power Dolphins team. I think Tyreek Hill is questionable in this game too. I don't know if he's playing or not. So that does give options for Waddle and others, but they have to keep Tua protected. If they can't keep Tua protected, then this is going to be a lot closer game than what they expect. Do not sleep on the Raiders in this game. I would actually favor, since it's so high, plus 13, but as you can tell from my record, don't listen to me. And those are ChatGPT's picks. Packers minus 6.5. Eagles money line. Bengals versus Chargers over 45.5. And Dolphins minus 13. Now with my pick. And boy, do I have to rant some. Not with this one, but coming up. Steelers plus 3 versus the Ravens. Steelers are on fire. 4 in a row looking to defend home against a clicking offense. Lamar Jackson with 2,669 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. MVP again, MVP numbers. I need to go back and look at what he pulled last season, but those are MVP numbers. The only reason why I don't think he's going to get MVP is because he's getting watered down. That voting bias, where basically what they do with LeBron James in the NBA. LeBron James is so good that his numbers are amazing, especially with Steph Curry's, Kevin Durant's. Those guys' numbers are amazing. But if there's someone who sparks, who's not as good as those guys and puts up their type of numbers, they're somehow the heavy favorites. So I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to win this year, even though I do believe he should. It may be someone else, honestly. It may be Jared Goff. It may be somebody. It may be Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it'll be Lamar Jackson. Voter fatigue bias. So, anywho, on the other hand, Russell Wilson is looking like the old Russell Wilson in Seattle. Only 3 games, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 737 yards. To put it in perspective, Fields played 6 games, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,100 yards. Steelers defense did, however, give up the most points to Washington last week, 27, but they still came out with the win. Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin, they cannot lose. And I don't think they're going to lose this game at all. I just need them to cover, but I don't think they're losing this game. I think the Ravens will struggle. I think they stopped Derrick Henry, and once they stop Derrick Henry, it's ball game because their defense is pretty good. Their secondary is really good. And then Russell Wilson, if he looks like he's been looking these past 3 games, proving that it wasn't him in Denver, it was Sean Payton. Boy, the Steelers are a scary team to see in the playoffs if they make it, which I do believe they will. I think they'll win a wild card spot. Let's go next pick, Packers versus Bears over. And like I said previously, I know I shouldn't bet on the Bears, but this is my Let It Fly games. My Let It Fly games are 0-2. Let's change that this time. Funny enough, I did pick the Bears, I believe, in both Let It Fly games, and they both came out short. Caleb Williams is looking bad, but and in his defense, his offensive line is struggling. The receivers aren't catching. But also in the Bears' defense, I told everybody that Caleb Williams was not a good number one quarterback. He does not. Him, Bryce Young, I also did say Jaden Daniels, but especially Caleb Williams. I did not believe Caleb Williams should have been the number one pick. I believe it should have been Jaden Daniels. It should have been, honestly, in my perspective, since I'm an Oregon fan, Bo Nix. But that being said, they do have the weapons. They do have a decent defense, but they should have an offense to keep this game close and high scoring. Packers, on the other hand, they're coming off a bye. They lost against the Lions, but Jordan Love can put up points. 15 touchdowns this year. Bad thing is he does turn over the ball a lot. 10 interceptions this year. With Bears, haven't been putting up numbers the last 3 games with only 3, 19, and 15. But the previous 3 were 35, 36, and 24. A 21-20 score, and I'm a little happy. I don't give a damn who wins. Let's go home. Let's collect the check. And, yeah. The Bears, y'all need to get it together. Otherwise, y'all are going to ruin this whole season, and the Packers are just going to slip away. Or Lions, technically, are going to just slip away and win the division, which they pretty much already have it wrapped up. And then Bears won't even make it to the wild card this year. So that's what I believe. Next, we have Seattle versus Arizona. Seattle plus 6.5. Is it Arizona? Who are they playing? 49ers. I'm sorry. They're playing the 49ers. Cut. Seattle plus 6.5 against the 49ers. Yes, it is in San Francisco, but let's face it, the 49ers aren't Super Bowl contenders. They're not. They are bad. They are barely squeaking by. Granted, Christian McCaffrey hasn't been playing these few games. He did play last week, but again, last week they barely scraped by. They barely beat the Bucs against Baker Mayfield. Their kicker missed 3 field goals, I believe, but then one hit the game-winning field goal. They only got down there because I think a few good short passes, and the Bucs defense was a little leaky, and then a few penalties went in their favor. The next game, Dallas was driving to win the game. I believe they were in the red zone to win that game, but then somehow, it's Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, they couldn't do it. But they were driving to win that game. A touchdown would have tied it, and then the extra point, which would have made it 7, would have won them the game in the last few seconds. And then previous matchup, Seattle versus San Francisco. Seattle was in the red zone, about to win the game. They were about to win the game again, similar to the Dallas game. All they needed was a touchdown, and boom, ball game, bud. See y'all later. 49ers defense bailed them out all 3 games. All 3 games. The only reason why I say this is because, just face the facts. Brock Purdy is not a good, he's a decent quarterback. He'll get you to win some of the games, but he is not the field general that you need to win a Super Bowl. He got there the first time, but just on pure talent around him. But now the talent around him is getting hurt, and now he's throwing to a bunch of just, I wouldn't say bums because they're in the NFL, but a bunch of players that need to step up, and then they just can't do it. The 49ers do not have the cap and the money to keep this team together, so I do believe this is their last run, and Brandon Ayuk's out for the season. Christian McCaffrey is barely coming back. Will he stay healthy? Hopefully he does. For some of our fantasy owners, not me, because I didn't draft him. But that being said, though, Geno Smith and the Seahawks have lost the last 4. Have lost the last 4 out of the last 5. Ernest Jones will be calling the plays on defense. This is a must-win game for both teams, but mainly for Seattle. I think Seattle is the better team. Personally, they have the better quarterback. Personally, they just don't have the talent. like the 49ers. But with that being said, they do have the better offense right now. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker. It's just these teams are very, very, very similar. And if one of these teams were to go to the playoffs, I believe it should be Seattle. The 49ers, I think they'll just lose their first game. Seattle would actually give a fighting chance. And my last game. Texans -7 versus the Cowboys. Yes, I went with it. My first initial thought was to go with the Bills versus the Chiefs. Bills money line, because I think the Bills are going to win that game. But this game, I saw the number -7. It's a disrespect to the Texans. Granted, I think they deserve this disrespect because they have been looking bad these past 4 weeks, honestly. Granted, they do have a win against the Colts in those 4 weeks, but yikes. Those 3 losses that they have against the Jets, against the Lions, and against the Packers, that offensive line is not holding up. CJ Stroud is running for his life. That being said, last week was not the offensive line's fault. Was not the defense's fault. 5 interceptions last week. But somehow, some way, in those 5 interceptions, the Texans could not score one more touchdown, one more field goal, and the game would have been a wrap. The Texans would come out on top. We wouldn't be having this conversation. People were already saying, oh, CJ Stroud on the offensive line are looking bad. They're not going to go anywhere. They're barely going to squeak by and make it to the playoffs. They're going to be the worst team in the playoffs. Now you're proving the critics right. My glasses are crooked. Now you're proving the critics right. The Texans are bad. This last game was on CJ Stroud and Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick does not like driving the ball downfield. And you can see that CJ Stroud can do it. Tank Dell scored a wide open touchdown last week. And then was it John Mitchell finally coming in the game? Use him a lot, man. You lost Nico Collins. You lost Stephon Diggs. And now Nico Collins comes back this week, hopefully. The only thing going for the Texans this game is that the Cowboys do not have Dak Prescott. And boy, they are lucky, because I believe if they had Dak Prescott going into Dallas, Cowboys win this game. I'm a Texans fan. Cowboys win this game. But thank God they don't have Dak Prescott. And it shows that the Cowboys need Dak Prescott. And it hasn't been Dak Prescott's fault this whole time. It's been a little bit of the offense and that leaky defense. Micah Parsons needs to step up. Micah Parsons, sorry. Dallas only scored 6 points last week without Dak Prescott. 6 points. Had to throw a little Cooper in there, throw a little Trey Lance, and they only came up with 6 points. You can't blame that on Dak Prescott. 6 points. Granted, the Eagles are on fire, and they are freaking looking like Super Bowl contenders, looking to compete against the Detroit Lions. But 6 points. Ugh. You are playing at home. I think if the Cowboys don't score more than 6 points, especially against the interstate rivals Houston Texans, the fans are going to let Jerry Jones know, which they already have been, but you will hear the boos, and it's going to be an ugly game. And I pray that it's an ugly game, but I also pray that Texans win by 1 million. Because I'm a Texans fan. I don't really say I hate the Cowboys or the Cowboys fans, just those obnoxious ones that are like, oh, we have to hate Houston. We have to hate Houston. Those fans, I don't really like. Because I don't mind the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are a great organization. Obviously, they're the richest team in the freaking world. They're just not putting out great product this year for the fans. And the Texans get it together. The offensive line got it together last week. They did have a few, They gave like 2 or 3 sacks, but they looked a lot better. They gave CJ Stroud a lot more time. He wasn't running for his life the whole time. And CJ Stroud, man, get it together. You're struggling, bud. We can all see it. That last game was on you, Bobby Slowick. If y'all lose this game, or if this game is even close, even though you were a freaking must-hire last year for other teams, you are probably a must-fire this year if y'all don't get it together, because this is getting embarrassing. We are the Houston Texans. We were Super Bowl predicted contenders. People were picking us to go to the Super Bowl this year, and we are looking awful. So, yes, that is my little rant. That being said, those are my picks for week 11. Are y'all riding with chat? Are y'all riding with me? Are y'all fading both of us? Let me know in the comments what y'all like. What are y'all's best picks in the comments? Also, we will be posting 3 videos today. Today is going to be NFL. Tomorrow will be college football. And then finally, we're going to upload Merlin. I know y'all been waiting for it. My card fans. Merlin's finally coming. And then we have Topps, Allen, and Ginter coming up probably next week. And hopefully it comes in on time. Topps Chrome update. Hopefully. I don't hopefully I'm going to keep y'all waiting. It is the holidays coming up, so the videos will slow down on the cards. I gotta, buy some gifts for the family. But make sure y'all like, subscribe, and check y'all later. See ya.